You can walk the crowded streets of Manhattan, climb the tallest skyscrapers, and see the bright lights of Broadway. But if you leave New York City without standing at the feet of Statue of Liberty and walking the hall of Ellis Island, your journey is incomplete. This isn't just a sightseeing trip, it is where the very soul of the city. The story of Statue of Liberty begins in 1865, when Frenchman Edouard de la Volaille proposed the idea of presenting monumental gift from the people of France to the people of the United States. He wanted to celebrate America's upcoming centennial of the Declaration of Independence, as well as celebrate the close relationship between France and America. He was equally moved by the recent abolition of slavery in the United States, which furthered America's ideals of liberty and freedom. Sculptor Frederick Auguste Bartholdi was in attendance for Laboulaye's proclamation. Of like mind with Laboulaye's cause, Bartholdi began conceptualizing the colossal structure that would soon be known as Liberty Enlightening the World. Fundraising and bringing people together have always been integral to Lady Liberty's history. France would be responsible for creating the statue and assembling it in the United States, while American people would fund and build the pedestal.
I was swinging along, minding my business, when suddenly out of the blue, just like a present from heaven, beautiful, wonderful you. The clouds disappeared and the birds started singing a beautifully wonderful tune. For no other song could be worthy of beautiful, wonderful you. Now who could have thought this could happen? Who would have ever believed? Could it be true that someone like you could fall for somebody like me? I'll swing along, happy as ever.
Public fees, different forms of entertainment and lottery were used to raise funds in France. Similarly, in the US, theatrical events, art exhibitions, auctions and prize fights were held. Poet Emma Lazarus wrote her famous sonnet, The New Colossus, in 1883 for an art and literary auction. Despite these efforts, fundraising for the pedestal waned slow. To spark public action, in 1885, Joseph Pulitzer placed an ad in his paper, The New York World, inviting readers to donate to the cause. In exchange, Pulitzer printed each donor's name in the newspaper. Public rose to the challenge, with 120,000 people donating over $100,000 and securing the remaining funds needed for the construction of pedestal. Back in France, Bartholdi required the assistance of an engineer to address the structural issues associated with designing such a colossal copper sculpture. Alexander Gustav Eiffel, prior to creating his famous tower, was engaged to design the massive iron pylon and secondary skeletal framework that allows the statue's copper skin to move independently yet stand upright. Construction of the statue was completed in France in July 1884. Meanwhile, in America that same year, architect Richard Morris Hunt was selected to design the statue's granite pedestal. For its transatlantic voyage, the statue was reduced to 350 individual pieces and packed in 214 crates. The ship arrived in New York Harbor on June 17, 1885. Subsequently, after completion of the pedestal in April 1886, the statue was finally completed and unveiled to the world on October 28, 1886. The statue's own meaning and relevance have evolved with time. The most notable and iconic association with welcoming the huddled masses. In 1903, a plaque engraved with "The New Colossus" was placed on the pedestal. With that, Lady Liberty's significance grew as an inspiration to immigrants who sailed past her on their way to America. She became a powerful light in the dark for millions of immigrants catching their very first glimpse of the American dream. Prior to 1890, individual states rather than the federal government regulated the immigration into the United States. Castle Garden, located at the Battery of Manhattan, served as the immigration station for the Port of New York from 1855 to 1890. Approximately 8 million migrants passed through its doors, mostly from northern European countries. This constituted the first large wave of immigrants to settle and populate the US. In the 1800s, rising political instability, economic distress, and religious persecutions plagued Europe, propelling the largest mass human migration in the history of the world. With the passing of the Immigration Act of 1891, the Castle Garden was apparently ill-equipped and unprepared to handle the mass influx, leading the federal government to construct a new immigration station on Ellis Island. The new facility on Ellis Island began receiving immigrants on January 1, 1892. Animo, a teenage girl from Ireland, accompanied by her two younger brothers, made history as the very first immigrant to be processed at Ellis Island. Over the next 62 years, more than 12 million immigrants would arrive in the United States via this island. Despite the island's reputation as an island of tears, the vast majority of immigrants were treated with courtesy and respect, free to begin their new lives in America after only a few short hours on Ellis Island. Only 2% of arriving immigrants were denied entry, primarily because of doctor diagnosing an immigrant with contagious disease that could endanger the public health, or legal inspector being concerned that an immigrant would likely become a public charge or an illegal contract laborer. With the increasing number of relentless groups of politicians and nativists demanding increased restrictions on immigration, and followed by numbers of regulations enacted to limit who could enter the US, Ellis Island experienced a rapid decline in the usage beginning in the early 1920s. Ellis Island remained in use for 3 more decades, serving a multitude of purposes, and eventually closed in November of 1954.